the difference between imperative and not crucial, non-crucial, instead of non-essential, just say non-crucial, is that I wouldn't be caught dead with carrying around a purse. Now, I have, that I wear a fanny pack sometimes, and so that's just to not have bulk when I walk, such as, now I'm in favor of, I kind of look like a tool, but I kind of understand it. I got this in Duluth, and I put my key on my side so that it is not in my pants when I walk. Not that I wear tight pants, it's just I need all the help I can get when I'm walking. I dropped a penny and I almost couldn't pick it up. And that's the state where I'm at, where I'm losing my mobility at age 31. And so I've noticed more people have gotten strenuous and the lockdown takes a toll, and that's specifically why I'm talking to you about the difference between a fanny pack and a purse. And I'm not effeminate. I'm going to be addressing that in a minute. But first, I'm going to tell you the difference between a fanny pack and a purse is if you cut off the strap, it's going to just be a pack, a miniature backpack. And wouldn't it be great if a data center was the size of like a telephone booth, and you can make the telephone booth be no heavier than a styrofoam ice chest, the size of its size. That's real. Then they will be sold into child trafficking at the border. Today, Alex Jones was there, and there's a blue-eyed kid, and he was saying, "I want my mother," and they shut him into the doors, and they scurried him away quickly. Alex Jones was going to jump the fence and stop that, but he would have gotten charged for criminal activity. That's real. There's an FBI agent currently found in a child sex ring operation. There is a judge down the road this way in Madison, and he was caught in a child sex trafficking ring. Those two examples. Third example, Jeffrey Epstein. So if the kids, that's going to wipe all of them out. You're going to see more and more of that. And then the older people at top, and they're going to lower the gap and squeeze the gap in the middle by making the middle more extreme with LGBT, disassociating yourself from your body or selling yourself out. And now sexual orientation has been politicized as a weapon. And that's the small peanuts. The big fat cats, where the corporatization, once again, is even if you're not in the LGBT, you're not going to be able to maintain your health because they're going to make it so dangerous. Whereas if you just have a piece of plastic next to you, you're going to get... You might think that sounds ridiculous, but it wouldn't be if that actually were the case. It's just they don't know how to make it the case yet. But it would be something like that, because plastic is the most preferable object on planet Earth because it's littered everywhere. It's the most popular item. So weaponize that, and then you can corporatization, medical tyranny, like that. Top, down, bottom, middle, through LGBT onto, how they wear a lot of caked up makeup, shoving a whole bunch of plastic in that makeup, and now you've got a walking problem. And why I was showing you those pictures of seeds earlier is that because it's been fashionable to start dressing them with synthetics. You might think, how the heck is that possible? It's not even grown yet. Well, I'm here to tell you that those seeds have genes in them. And what's been so moderate lately is to start cutting the genes and adding in additives so that the product is then grown with it in it. And I know that's hard to understand, But imagine the story with the woman who had all the kids in the shoe. Yeah, these people grew up in a shoe because the boot was that big. So just imagine all their genes inside of the shoe. Well, they can do that with a seed. If you imagine that the seed is the boot in that story, that is what gene editing is, and it's been highly fashionable because it's immensely profitable, especially since no one can look inside of the seed unless you have testing centers with very expensive equipment. And you're able to do this by, once again, putting people into medical tyranny. If all they eat is additives that you've spliced into your seeds and sold to your farmers for a penny to the dollar, where the farmers got hit pretty hard in the lockdown because the truckers stopped trucking, because the corporatization stopped down the loading docks on the embarkments of companies that weren't buying products anymore because they were getting shut down because people weren't wearing masks. The farmers had to buy any seeds they could get, and the only seeds that were being delivered were ones that had been spliced in the corporatization Overton window. And you and I come into play when we eat the food that has been grown with a seed that has been spliced. It's bad because we get crankier, because we lose more energy and have stomach aches and need to eat more. The Native Americans, they ate like this paste, and they were healthy as an ox, and they only needed to eat some paste like once a day, and this paste was so great. It was made out of cornmeal and maple sugar, and that's about it. And this is what in Lord of the Rings, once again, they have lembas bread. And these elves gave Frodo his lembas bread, and he was able to eat that with Sam, and that was enough for them just because it was made by the elves. Equivalently, that bread was to the Indians their cornmeal paste, which I bet was grown with 0 additives. And so when you keep eating that on a regular basis, you're able to just have 1 or 2 of them and be okay for the day, instead of eating like 5 pounds once a day of all these additives and feeling like depleted in between each meal. So if you can buy low and sell high, you're gonna be able to find loopholes. You're gonna be able to find loopholes. You're gonna be able to find loopholes if you can buy low and sell high. And that's where it all stems from. And then if you make everyone in between the middleman, well, now the middleman, he can do favors, mainly blackmail. And you can see how the corporatization, if you're sitting at the very top and you can never be questioned, how you can play this into almost anyone if you so have them buy into a medical tyranny. And I'm not going to get into that, but the notion of, well, name your price, and then they have one place do something and then another place has to do another thing, or else they will not invest in their company and they'll go underground, especially in a lockdown when all the places are getting shut down and only some. You might ask, what is corporatization? I'll sum it up very clearly. In the notion of buying low and selling high. If you can do that, then there's a gain of access where you can find loopholes if others are. Within auto enforcement, this is, machine learning, AI, a corporate head that doesn't care about anyone except his family. That's bad because people are depending and working their hardest, and then if he is told to make a cut, he's going to make that cut 10 out of 10 times just so that he doesn't get cut. But what happens when this is an occurrence is that he'll get asked